Here's a good question. What recommendation, what advice do I have for parents who have kids? Now, full disclaimer, Jen and I, we have been together for 13 years. We've been married for 4 years now, and we don't have any children yet. However, I do have a lot of students from around the world who are parents, and sometimes they come to me and seeking advice because I am an educator. At the end of the day, I'm a teacher. So they want to know how could they give their kids a head start in life, what recommendation I have. And I usually tell them 3 things, which will be the 3 things that I want to share that with you. First thing I teach them is, first of all, recognize your children's talent, right? What are they naturally good at? What are their strengths? One of the books that I recommend everyone to read is a book called Strength Finders. And within the book, it comes with a little test. You go online, you can take the test, and it will tell you your top 5 strengths that you should focus on. I believe this is something that you should do it with your kids as well. So then you know naturally, early on, what are they naturally good at? Here's what I believe, that if you focus on your weaknesses, at the end of your life, you have a lot of strong weaknesses. I believe you should go all in and bet on your strengths. But you can't bet on them if you don't know what those strengths are. So number 1, recognize your child's strength and have them focus on that. That's number 1. Number 2 is to be open to the possibility other than the traditional path. What am I talking about, right? Years ago, my dad, I remember, he would say to me, hey, son, when you grow up, I want you to be anything that you want, as long as an accountant, doctor, or lawyer. One of those 3. You can pick any one of those 3 that you want, right? That's a very typical Asian family, right? If you're not a doctor, you're not a lawyer, you're not an engineer, you are a failure. That's it. You don't have any other choices. Comment below if your family is the same. You're coming from, an Indian family or an Asian family, maybe, right? You don't have a lot of choices. So as parent, what I'll recommend is, hey, what if your daughter wants to be a vlogger on YouTube? Maybe to become a makeup artist, maybe a hairdresser. Your son maybe wants to be a gamer. They actually make quite a bit of money. They're actually very successful, be able to travel the world and just be successful in their own area with their expertise. Although it feels like they're playing games, but actually it takes a lot of time and effort to master a craft like that to be able to compete. And now they're competing in tournaments and things like that as well. So being open, that's all I'm asking. Open to the possibility. So when they say, I'm gonna be a professional gamer, don't be like, what the hell is wrong with you? And then you slap the face and then you go do your homework. No, listen, okay, if you wanna be a professional gamer, what are you willing to do? Are you actually practicing? Tell me how you're gonna succeed. How are you gonna make a living doing this? Let them sell you on the idea and just be open to the possibility, because nowadays, there are other career paths where it may not exist in the past, right? Before, yes, we have accounting 101, right? They can study to be a doctor, to be a nurse, to be an accountant, and that's good, that's perfectly fine. But there are now a lot more new career paths that people could choose from, that those topics, they're not available in school. Right? There's no YouTube 101, right? There's no Instagram 101. There's no digital marketing 101. It doesn't exist. And yet there's a huge demand in the marketplace right now for talents like that. So that's number 2. Be open to the possibilities of just other career paths. And the third thing that I would ask you and advise you to teach your children is the habit of learning. Letting them know, going to school, that's good. Going to university, that's fine. Going to college, that's fine. But that's not the end. One of the most dangerous things that you could teach your kids is like, hey, son, daughter, go to school, and after you get that piece of paper, you get that certificate, you get that diploma, that's it. Then you go to work. No, you have to educate them that by the time they get that piece of paper, they get that certificate, they get that diploma, they get that degree, that is not the end, that is the beginning of learning. In order to do that, you have to be a role model. Isn't it true? Your kids, they don't listen to what you say, they watch what you do. So if you want them to be a student of life, you want them to be continuously learning and improving themselves, guess what you should be doing? You need to be a role model. So you need to be improving, educating yourself all the time. Self-education is more important than just academic education. Read that book, take that course, go to that workshop, keep learning, talking to other successful people, learn from other people who are smarter than you. Your kids would see that and they would learn the same thing and they would want to emulate that. So teach them, give them the gift of learning. Teach them to read a book, listen to a book, talk about, hey, here's a book that you've read. What have you learned from that? I think that is probably the most valuable gift that you could give to your children.